We've been gamers for a long time. I'm talking like arcade cabinets long time. And one of my favorites to play growing up was the 1977 Star Wars one. The graphics were absolutely just lines pixelated, but you're going through like the trench run of the Star Wars. It was really cool. I remember being a youngin' and I was like, this is what it's like to be in an X-Wing. This is great. That and Tron is also like a great classic arcade game. If you could ever find that cabinet, spend some time on it, show it some love, maybe you'll get sucked into the world or something. It's amazing.
Okay, best arcade games. Best arcade games. I have a few on my list. Number one, this isn't my favorite one, but Qbert, I remember being really fun, mainly because it was the only arcade cabinet that was actually in my neighborhood. My friends had one across the street from me. Their dad was just a big fan of Qbert, I guess, but I would always go over there and play their arcade cabinet. If for some reason it just like tickled me, that it was like, oh, I don't have to put in a quarter? That's f***ing awesome. I can just play Qbert as much as I want. And then you play Qbert a lot and you're like, yeah, this game actually isn't that good. But I had some good memories playing it, so there's that.
All right, arcade games. First off, right off the bat, I want to mention Cyber Sleds. It was this huge, like, sit-down game where you got in this, like, cockpit, and then you had a joystick on either side, and you had triggers that fired guns and then missiles, and then you could choose from all different kinds of sleds. Some were faster, some had better missiles, some had better armor, and my dad would take me, like, once a month to the arcade just so we could play this game. And my dad would play, too, which makes him the best dad in the world. Bless his heart, he could never beat me. I was always way, way better than him, but he would try. He would try his little heart out, and every once in a while, I think I let him win a game. But he's still the best dad ever just for taking me there and letting me play that game.
One of my favorite arcade games was actually it was the Star Wars Pod Racer, where you got to sit in like the cart and you had like the two things and you had to go like left and right and speed up, kind of turn. It just, again, it was one of those games that made you feel like you were in the universe, you were actually driving. Like, I enjoyed the game for N64 in the first place. This was just cooler because you were there, you were doing it. You had like the little boost button where you hit it when it went green. You're like, yeah, bam, that was a lot of fun. I spent a lot of dollars on that one.
Okay, next favorite arcade cabinet would have to be Street Fighter. Street Fighter 2 in particular was a great arcade cabinet. I would always challenge my friends. I usually play as Blanca because he was like one of the only people that I actually knew his moves on the actual arcade cabinet, which was basically just mash punch until you electrocute things. That's sort of what my strategy was. I could also do the Hadouken, so I could spam fireballs, and that was my strategy as a kid. I would find one move that was good and I'd just spam it over and over again and grief everybody with it. And then there'd always be that like 25-year-old dude that would be like, my turn next, and he'd hop on and I'd get my ass kicked because he actually knew how to play.
Of course, gotta mention Mortal Kombat 2. That's where Mortal Kombat really hit its stride in the arcade, I feel like. I'm going in there as soon as I get my token. There was a line at the place I used to go, it was called Fun and Stuff, and I put my token up, and it's like, yeah, as soon as one of you is done, I'm playing, I'm jumping on here. And you know I'm picking Reptile, and you know I'm coming at you with that spit, that forward, this button, I don't remember what the buttons were named, but it was like right here, and then I'm spitting at you, and it's back, and then these two, and he was doing the force ball, and then these three, back, and the slide, and I'm gonna do the force ball first, and it's gonna slowly come at you, and then the spit's gonna come fast, and then I'm sliding in at the end. You're not ready for it. You're not ready, son, unless you're playing Scorpion, and you're one of those douchebags who just teleports away and teleports up behind me whenever I do that, and then you probably beat me. But you know what? Screw you, guy that was playing Scorpion way too much in Mortal Kombat 2.
Now, a lot of people don't actually know this, but my favorite arcade games were pinball games. I love pinball machines, even to this day. Like, if I ever see one, I'm like, okay, I gotta play this. If I'm at a movie theater, I will stop, go play, like, Terminator 2 pinball was great. There was this pinball game on the NES called Pinbot. Loved that when I was a kid, and as an adult, I actually found an actual Pinbot machine, and I just played the hell out of this thing. It was just so amazing, it was so nostalgic. I love pinball games. I am the king of pinball. Anyone else challenge me, they're gonna go down.
By far my favorite arcade cabinet of all time, if I had one in my house I would literally never leave, would have to be Galaga. It is so much fun. I don't know what it is about just the little ship at the bottom and you're shooting at bees and stuff. There are those bonus levels, but it's so cool, especially when you get the tractor beam and you get the ship sucked up and you get it back, and then you have double ships. I'd always destroy people at that game. It's probably the one that I'm best at, and it's because my first job in LA, I actually had a night shift, and I would work from 6 p.m. at night until 4 in the morning. And they had this Galaga machine down in the valet. And the only joy in my life at that time was getting my shift done and then I'd go down to the valet and I would play Galaga for like an hour with my friends. We had like a little tournament, my coworkers, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. That game is really cool, and it's kind of timeless in my book.
Third one, how can we forget at the X-Men arcade game? I don't remember what it's called. What is it like? X-Men versus Magneto? I don't remember the name of it. That's so sad. My memory is going. But I used to always pick Nightcrawler. You could pick like Nightcrawler, Cyclops, Wolverine. And Wolverine, in the weird thing, his special ability was he unleashed this like powerful wave of something. But I'm like, that's not one of his powers. He can't shoot things out of his claws. But the game was like, you, Wolverine can shoot things out of his claws now. We're like, all right, I guess we'll go for it. I was always Nightcrawler though, and like whenever you activated his special mutant power, he would go all around the screen. And then you got to fight like the Blob and Juggernaut, and like Blob's like, nothing moves the Blob. And then you're like, yeah, right. And you punch him in his face and move him. It was awesome. So that X-Men game, whatever it was called, it'll show it. Someone will show some footage, and then you'll see what it's called. But that was a great game.
So our gaming literally is deep rooted to like old school arcade cabinets. This isn't just a thing we do. This is why we're single.